upon coming to this day. It's not easy going through endless days of fasting, but we are here today, which means that you did what you do best every Ramadan, and today you get to celebrate the Eid. And of course, is today called also Iftar? When they're having Eid, is it called Iftar? Maybe I should go to Chantal. Good morning.
Good morning, Olive. How are you today? I'm
great. So today when the Muslims are having their Eid celebration, is it also termed as Iftar or Eid is Eid?
It's Eid. Iftar is the meal they eat when they are breaking their fast.
And today is breaking the fast, right?
No. Yesterday was the last day of the fasting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is a beautiful day, and of course, for the gentlemen that promised us getting hajjats, I wonder how that has gone or how is as of today, because from what I heard yesterday, I was expecting to see kanzus here, men ready to partake of the wonderful meals that are prepared by the Muslim ladies, the hajjats. Jarampo Sonko, what's the status?
Haj Muzaffaru here. That is so far the status I have in regards to celebrating Eid. When you ask about the kanzus are already ironed, ready for what the day has to offer.
Waiting for the Oliwa message.
Exactly. Once the Oliwa message comes in, whether it's in Arabic, I'll definitely use the Google translator to make sure I know what it means. But here we are. It is Wednesday. Happy Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim viewers, and many thanks for joining us this morning on such a day where you are definitely going to be feasting, but not only that, and also reflecting on the 30 days of your fasting. Remember, many of those who have been involved in the fasting will today join in prayers. Then afterwards, the feasting will definitely be kicking off later on in the day and for as long as the week goes by. But nonetheless, in Uganda, lots of news is still happening, or lots of information, trending within our social circles. One of which, to me, is the fact that traders in Masaka joined the strike against IFRIS yesterday on day 2 of this strike by the traders in Uganda, until the Uganda Revenue Authority and the government do come up with at least new measures, according to the traders, that will make their business life a little bit more favorable. But that aside, to the Muslim traders, happy Eid as well.
Well, Sonko, I'm sure you have waited for lack of a better word, for the entire month that the Muslims have been fasting. But I've been seeing memes going around on social media towards us, the Christians, saying, Oliwa, kuidi tuliwa, and the answer was, kuista twaliwa.
No, someone actually said, also the Muslims who wanted us to invite them for Eid, rather for Easter, yet they were fasting, are really just making things up this time round. But they were right, because during the time we had Easter, many of them were fasting.
Yeah, they were
but to be fair, usually what happens is Muslims invite almost everyone in their homes to eat with them. But how many Christians even invite their fellow Christians or invite Muslims to come into their homes to share the meals? I had the same conversation with a Muslim friend, and the truth is, to be fair, rarely do Christians invite Muslims to their homes to have Easter with them.
I don't know which Christians you're hanging out with, but the Christians, I know myself inclusive, we invite Muslims. But if they were fasting, then it was hard for us to invite them for Easter. Isn't that so, Mr. Chirabo?
Well, first I want to congratulate all our Muslim brothers and sisters that have completed the month of Ramadan fasting. Those that have been able, because it's also a challenge to many. So those that have been able and obeyed the word, the commandment of fasting. Now, may blessings come your way. May all that you've presented before Allah, may it come to be. Congratulations. And we thank God for giving you the grace to fast these 30 days. Now, for our brothers and sisters that are Christians, I found one saying, "Je wali ku Easter gy'oba osigala oba gy'oba olaga." Well, it is very important that you do not go to someone's home if you're not invited. Simply because you know they are Muslims and it is Eid. I've seen people who are very excited. You know, my neighbor is a Muslim. But with this economy, if you've not been invited, please do not go. We are Africans. They may not send you away, but they have a budget. If a child was to take 2 sodas, 5 pieces of meat, they may reduce on that for you, the intruder. But also to the Muslims, we know times are hard, but Islam has always had that will of sharing and giving, regardless anything. Now, these conditions we are putting are not properly defining what Islam has always been. It's been a tradition. Yes, our brothers are not so much in the element of feasting and inviting people, that is the Christians, but for the Muslims, that's how tradition has been. So maybe we shouldn't change things because of prevailing circumstances unless you're unable. But if you're able, let them come. Let them learn more of how you do things. Because believe you me, there are some differences. For example, the sitting order and all that, the serving order. There it is Rusania for all men, eating together. Here it's a single plate. You're on the dining, they're on the table. You know, when we mingle so much, actually we get even to accept more. That actually, we are so much of brethren and sisters, and that's why.
And sharing a meal makes us, creates a bond.
And actually, one of the
community.
reasons we've been able to eradicate those funny beliefs about faith has been because of such activities.
Yes.
That where you're told Muslims do this, Christians do this, that. Now, when you come on such a day, you see how you're eating together, you're jubilating together, you get to understand that some of the things you're being told are actually lies. You know, some of the things you've been believing that these people don't do, actually not that way. So this is an opportunity not only for making the stomach satisfied and you move around, but also for more other benefits.
Well, and speaking of other benefits, the Civil Aviation Authority has elected to create an even bigger space for Muslims to carry out their prayers at the airport. According to Uganda Civil Aviation Authority Director General Fred Bamwesige, he says that there is an existing prayer area for Muslims, but it's become insufficient due to the rising numbers. But he says that in the new terminal that is to be launched later this year, there will be an even bigger prayer space to Muslims and also other denominations. What a way to celebrate Eid. This is beautiful news coming in from Entebbe Airport. And speaking of news, we have more for you from the local news and also on the international scene.
Well, we'll begin with issues regarding environment, where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Van Sevakich, that's the European Union Commissioner for Environment, Oceans and Fisheries, signed a new forest partnership agreement worth 167 billion Uganda shillings to support Uganda's efforts to combat deforestation and promote sustainable forestry practices. The grant will focus on 3 key areas, including boosting investment and jobs, expanding forest cover, and strengthening governance. This agreement marks a significant milestone in the long-standing collaboration between Uganda and the European Union on natural resource management. The Commissioner commended Uganda for being among the first 5 countries to sign such a partnership with the European Union. On his part, President Museveni welcomed the EU group and appreciated their support for environment, saying it is great to protect the ecosystem, including national parks and forests reserves, adding that the wetlands should be included in the conservation plan. The signing ceremony, held at State House in Entebbe, was attended by high-ranking officials from both Uganda and the European Union.
And moving on, the leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, has called on Uganda Revenue Authority to keep engaging traders, listen to them and address their concerns, emphasizing that taxes need to be implemented in a flexible way. While receiving a petition from members of Kampala City Traders Association, Senyonyi also proposed that the implementation of the EFRES system should be halted.
And now on matters of the budget and taxes, government targets to collect about 1.9 trillion shillings in the proposed tax bills to boost domestic revenue mobilization. The new proposed taxes include 100 shillings on every litre of petroleum and diesel fuel, 300 shillings on kerosene, 0.5% on withdrawal through agent banking, 5% charges on non-business assets like land and rental properties, and an extended tax on cement products. The tax bills were presented by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to the Parliamentary Committee on Finance for scrutiny.
Now, speaking matters health, report by Uganda AIDS Commission shows that 6,000 children were born with HIV last year, adding the number of children affected with AIDS in the country to which are 80,000. According to Uganda AIDS Commission, infections are caused by ignorance amongst HIV-affected lactating mothers who are not informed about safeguarding their children. This was revealed during the inauguration ceremony of the new board members for Uganda AIDS Commission in Kampala. Well, that does it for local news. Now Chantal takes us through the international news.
Now, on the international scene, parents of Michigan school gunmen have been sentenced to at least 10 years. The parents of a Michigan teenager who shot dead 4 students have each been sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. A 7-year sentence was recommended, but prosecutors asked for more. James and Jennifer Crumbley, the first parents of a U.S. school shooter to be convicted, appeared together for the first time in months at Tuesday's sentencing hearing. Both expressed regret about their son's attack as their lawyers pushed to minimize their prison sentence. In a landmark case, the jurors in separate trials found each parent of the shooter, Ethan Crumbley, guilty of involuntary manslaughter earlier this year. Judge Cheryl Matthews said that the expanded sentence of 10 to 15 years was to act as a deterrent and reflected the parents' failure to stop the attack. They are not expected to be psychic, but these convictions are not about poor parenting. They concern acts that could have halted a runaway train, she told the court. Away from that, an Israeli airstrike has killed at least 14 Palestinians, including 4 children, in the Nazarite camp in central Gaza, the Gaza Civil Defense says. Turkey has issued an export ban on Israel, while France's Foreign Minister and Human Rights Watch say targeted sanctions could be considered to push Israel to increase aid flows. UN Humanitarian Office and UNRWA say half of March food convoy to the North Gaza, where malnutrition is most severe, were blocked. The U.S. remains concerned about Israel's ability to move civilians out of harm's way in the proposed Rafah invasion, says U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. At least 33,360 Palestinians have been killed and 75,993 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza, while in Israel, the death toll still stands at 1,139. And lastly, a South African court has ruled that former President Jacob Zuma can run for president in the country's upcoming general election, overturning an earlier decision that had barred him from contesting in the polls. The Electoral Court decision on Tuesday paves the way for Zuma to run for president on behalf of the Umkhonto we Sizwe Party, a political organization that he joined last year after denouncing the governing African National Congress Party that he once led. The Electoral Commission had earlier ruled that Zuma could not run for office due to his criminal record after it received an objection to his candidacy. The decision of the Electoral Commission is set aside, the court wrote in its ruling. South Africa is to hold general elections on May 29th in what is expected to be the most competitive vote since the advent of democracy in 1994. And that does it for our international news.
Well, thank you so much, Chantal. Now, Jerome Paul, I know it's same business as every day. What does the press have for us?
Well, the press, starting it off with the New Vision, is highlighting government announcing new budget cuts. A list of over 100 affected ministries and agencies have been revealed in today's New Vision. Then the HIV fight, women to get vaginal ring. Then in the other matters, the meaning of Eid al-Fitr. Read about it as the Muslims celebrate globally. Then court declines to release Katanga widow on bail as Lake Choga fish stocks increase. There's a pictorial of a Nile perch which is weighing 75 kilograms that was caught by fishermen in Kawogo landing site on Lake Choga, that is in Kayunga district, on Monday. Now, government offers 1,000 Bududa families 10 billion shillings to relocate. Where are they relocating to? Read about it. Now, also on the census calendar, 29 days to go to the census. Now, away from Uganda, we head to Kenya. The Daily Nation. Housing levy faces another challenge. Dispute collection should stop until housing fund is in place, says the petitioners. Then, after fasting, Muslims mark Eid al-Fitr Fete today. Preparations of Eid Day celebrations in Kenya, highlighted in the Daily Nation. Now, politicians in threat to join doctors' strike, as the doctors in Kenya are on strike. Then also, the management and staff of Nation Media wishes many of its readers Eid Mubarak. Then, banditry, high taxes, leadership fights and drug abuse feature at Drama Festival. Then national news, Haitian gang better armed than national police, according to what the UN has revealed. Now, lastly, from the press review, East Africa leads the way in continental rebound, says the Citizen newspaper. Then the Rising Woman series, ML the Champions Empowerment with memoir. Then UDSM says won't shy away from rankings, as LATRA inspects standard gauge railway ahead of start of services. Then also, TCB eyes number 3 slot within 5 years. That is it from the press review this morning.
Now, as we take a short break, there is a song that has been dedicated to Alhaj Sonko, and it's called Amina from Swahaba Kasumba.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Abenno gwe nsalwa ne bitwamufu ne binyonya mugende mwetuge kusiyirira kikolole kubanga ojja kwetuga tekikyavaawo embaga ya leero. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Amina sakisuubira nze. Amina embaga y'ekitiibwa. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Amina sakisuubira nze. Amina embaga y'ekitiibwa. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Lazima omuntu ante Katonda ng'esswala bwetuuka n'asaala. Aba muzibu okumwewanikako kuba ne bw'onoga biseera by'omala. Ogedde bingi ebiremesa naye Allah byonna n'abiisa. Ono si kawundo kakubye eddirisa wabula mbaga y'ababamyamyasa. Saidi wano njagala obugalo n'akaluulwako obuwanguzi. Abaana baawana b'omuntu njagala musanyuke musaakaanye nnyo. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Amina sakisuubira nze. Amina embaga y'ekitiibwa. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Amina sakisuubira nze. Amina embaga y'ekitiibwa. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Kuno si kweraga bannange munsanyukireko embaga teddwamu. Bwe kinyiga nkikudukude nnyo oyo bwe kiruma agenda azaale. Kasita we tuli ttaka lya Kabaka zikira sanyuka tewali alemesa. Lino essanyu teririggwawo mumpe ku ngalo za Ssemmakokiro. Akundekunde masamogi sebuufu bwange empologoma. Nze swaba kasumba loshiti sebuufu bwange ondabiranga ddala. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Amina sakisuubira nze. Amina embaga y'ekitiibwa. Amina Mungu nga mugagga. Amina sakisuubira nze. Amina embaga y'ekitiibwa. Amina Mungu nga mugagga.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Hams Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
So this is my general perception. One, that this project entered in strategic areas of government, but that it has created a base for the now last mile strategy, which is the parish development model. And therefore this base that it has left will help us actually, and I'm sure we'll get better results in a Chole area and Ajumani when we are implementing the parish development model.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko. Yo. Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, Eid Mubarak to our Muslim fraternity. Our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, nephews, nieces, grandparents, extended family, we wish you a happy Eid because this is a beautiful moment. Now, as a Christian, this day I can only liken it to Christmas, in as much as these 2 days mean totally two different things. But I know that both days come up after we have been drawing closer to the Father, or like when we recently had our Easter celebrations after fasting the Lent period of 40 days. Now, this is your day. You are reaching this day after fasting for 30 days, and that is no small feat. I've met people in my life who say, I have never fasted a day in my life. And then there is you. So if you have been fasting and you have reached this day, we say, Eid Mubarak. Last night I made a mistake and I said Eid Karim. Forgive me, but it is supposed to be Eid Mubarak. So non-Muslims, when you are speaking to our Muslim brothers and sisters, you should know the exact thing to say, because you are more geared up for Eid, much more than the Muslims. And I wonder why. There is usually so much excitement regarding Eid from Christians, when I don't know whether it's because the Muslims prepare the most sumptuous meals. I really have no idea. Or they are more hospitable as compared to Christians. I have no idea. But I'm not alone today. Going to Studio 2, I have Chantal Olive Akandinda and Jerome Paul Sonko. And my name is Olive Monica Najima. And together, we will be speaking about Eid and, of course, the Ramadan period, the activities that the Muslim fraternity carries out during these 30 days of fasting, and how different these are from the Christian section or denomination. Well, join us and, of course, stick with us when we are having this amazing, amazing conversation. Well, Chantal, going to you.
Yes.
There is usually excitement when it comes to Eid celebration, especially from Christians. Of course, the Muslims are looking forward to it. It's a time to make merry, bond with family, just like we do on our celebrations as Christians. But why is the interest? Why is this deep-rooted interest from the Christian fraternity into Eid?
I would say that the biggest reason that really makes people excited about Eid is the eating part. And hear me out. Not because...
Is it the Christians or even the Muslims themselves?
Everyone. Everyone. If we are to be honest, we've had the Eid conversation. We've had our friends who are non-Muslims look forward to put on that day because their Muslim friends are inviting them to their homes to eat with them or to dine with them. And that is one thing that usually connects people, whether we like to believe it or not. Food connects people. Now, someone would ask the question, why then don't we have the Muslims really excited and geared up for the Christian holidays, for example, like Easter that recently concluded? Why wouldn't they be as excited as the whole world is for Eid? And the very first reason that I would really think about is the word halal.
Mm-hmm.
Muslims,
what do you mean by halal?
Prepare food that can be eaten by everyone. Now, do note that Muslims do not eat a certain type of meat, and for some Christian families, during Easter, that kind of meat is prepared. So that means that you're going to have limited people come to your home unless you make it really clear that in this family we do not eat that kind of meat, or we will not be preparing it. Please also note that for the staunch Muslims, for example, if the meat has not been, say for example, the chicken has not been cut by a Muslim, that has to be questioned as well. And also, have you entered to restaurants where someone says, I don't think I can trust their kitchen, if it's a Muslim, I don't think I can trust their kitchen because their menu is full of pork, for example. So that means you don't know if they're separating the cooking ware. So there is a lot of those details that are in there that we may not really maybe understand how they make different people feel. But for Eid, the other thing I would look at is the fact that most Muslim families are based on an extended family kind of setting. That means they are used to having people. Family has to be close. So if you are a friend that is really close, you're going to be joining in as if family. They love to host and take care of people. Unlike for the Christian side, you'll realize that, yes, we do have some extended families, but in most cases, people have learned to keep a lot more to themselves because of the settings that are advocated for in there. So those are some of the reasons as to why you will find that Muslims are going to be very welcoming. They're going to prepare very, very good meals. I think Muslims are one of the best chefs. So I wouldn't say chefs because some of them are not professional, but they prepare very wonderful meals. And that alone is enough to draw people close to them and want to have that kind of celebration. So I would say the major reason as to why everyone seems to be geared up for Eid is the food.
Is the food.
Yes.
And I understand when you speak to non-Ugandans, they say that some of our food, in as much as we love it, is rather bland. And they say that, for instance, I'll give you an example. One meal that pretty much every Ugandan likes, maybe pasted fish and matoke. It's tasty, but to someone else, or boiled meat like luombo, but to someone that has traveled the world, they feel like our food is a bit bland. What am I saying? The Muslim food is prepared a different way. If you eat pilau that has been prepared by a Muslim lady, or
even a gentleman, some men don't prepare good pilau.
Even the men, yes. And of course, that brings something to mind. Muslim businesses like Cafe Javas. If you go to any Cafe Javas today, you may actually not find a place to sit because Muslims will flock places like that. But we have seen the service and the food in this place, the cleanliness from the bathrooms to the kitchen, to the restaurant itself. And this is something common with many different Muslim establishments. What do you think, Sonko, Muslims are doing right when it comes to, let's say, food business to begin with, that non-Muslims are not doing?
I think Muslim businesses, why they're actually making bigger moves of the profits is because they've centered this around family and their religion entirely. And also the principles of Islam that push for fairness. When you look into how the business circle rotates, for example, I'll just use downtown Kampala in general, you'll realize that a business that is owned, most of the businesses that are owned by Muslims are connected to an entire Muslim fraternity. For example, the retailer, transporter, let's say wholesaler, all of these are either related in a way. So there's a way they do their business which is more like an Indian type of business. I'm trying to break it down in that way for the viewer to understand. That you realize that, let's say I am the head of a family. Today I woke up and let's say Muzaffaru. Today I woke up, got a wife, started for her a business, or she started a business somewhere in Kampala. After she starts the business, the children, you do realize in most of the Muslim families, continuously go into these businesses to understand how everything works. And in the long run, because of the principles of Islam that preach for fairness and also brotherhood, you do realize that the support system is always there. And many, of course, currently have been wondering why we even have limited sales during such a time of Ramadan. Yes. You do realize that at times most of the businesses are not making so much of the money because of the people who are actively in the businesses who are fasting. And when you look at, for example, the restaurant business that you've mentioned, it goes back to the quality of, let's say the food that the Muslims are putting out. Goes back to what Chantal started with, that Muslims make food for everybody. And I think we've all experienced the fact that a Muslim person does not, or a believer under Islam does not eat beef which was not slaughtered by a Muslim.
Right.
So you do realize that they take that bit of food a little serious as well. And they also focus on, it goes back to even the principles of Islam again, that you have to focus on the quality that you give out to everybody. You've mentioned the bigger brands, for example, the CJs, a brand that has actually attracted quite a number of Muslims and non-Muslims. When you look at how they handle their business life, the service delivery is sort of it, goes back to the element of fairness, that you want a client to feel that they've paid for a service.
So you're talking about the portions.
Besides the portion, but you want to give someone a better service kind of experience. For the money they've paid you.
Because when you're selling food, you're also selling an experience. Exactly.
So when you go downtown and you want to purchase a good, because most of them are actually in the importing business of importing goods from the UAE, Middle East, and then others maybe from China. But there is that element of fairness, right, that is deeply rooted from the Islamic principles, that you want to create room for fairness and do not exercise fake products or do not exercise what I could say counterfeit in the business life that you're leading. So this is why you realize that at times the simple metrics that make their businesses, boom, go back to personality and, the fairness that they push for, and, well, living deep into religion and understanding the nitty-gritties of being a Muslim.
Now, recently, there was the launch of the Muslim bank, that is Salam Bank. Yes. What do you know about Islamic banking? Because I have read some literature here and there, which says that Muslims do not entertain interest rates when it comes to loans. And we know that we have interest rates. Actually, the central bank just increased its interest rate yesterday. So how is this business, the banking, the Islamic banking, going to operate in Uganda, given that their competitors will actually have interest rates?
The good note, though, is in 2008, in Tanzania, when they first rolled it out officially, it picked up. But of course, for Tanzania, it did pick up because
it's largely
most
Muslim
of the
country.
people in there are Muslims.
Yes.
So it may not be most, but maybe, half the population
percentage.
really, or the bigger percentage. So when you look at that, that is 15 years or so of the success of Muslim banking. Now in Uganda today, there is before the rolling out of Islamic banking in the country, many of the commercial banks were scared of the same, because when you look at this, Islamic banking prohibits payment and receipt of interest. And I think this is what you wanted to know more. Because the interest, according to, the Sharia laws, represents any fixed or guaranteed payment on cash advances or on deposits. Therefore, it does represent a sure gain of the lender regardless of the performance of the borrower's business. And it goes back to the element of fairness. That in most of the banks today, the financial institutions that we have, if you go in for a loan, they will definitely give you, you will have to pay back with an interest, whether you are making money or not. This is why you realize that many people who have banked or used the private banking institutions end up losing their property that they actually put up as collateral due to the fact that they've not been able to, one, clear their loans, or be able to also afford the interest. Now, the issue to do with the interest brings us to the mutuality of risk-sharing, profit and loss. In Islamic banking, the banks and their customers are partners. This is according to what the Sharia law puts it, that if you're a banker and let's say Salam Bank, you, Monica, now Hajat Madina for the day, if you are a banker, you and the bank become partners. So that means you're going to share a predetermined and agreed ratio. The profits or losses arising from this joint venture. So the bank shares the losses with you, the same way they will share the profit with you. So it's a win-win. When you're banking with Islamic banking, the chances are they want to see you grow. And this is one thing that goes back to the very first question you asked about looking at the businesses owned by Muslims. There is that element of pulling one another. Something that is not really common with non-Muslims. That for the Muslim community, you do realize many people ask questions that why is it that these I've never found, I saw a meme which was saying, why is it I've never found a broke Muslim? I don't know how true of a statement that is.
Well, it may not be true. There are some who are broke, but the biggest percentage, when you look at their
they've
societies,
been able to empower.
Yes, each other and be there for each other. And when you talk about Islamic banking, it has a number of benefits that I think have led to the growth of Muslim businesses.
And also there is an element, by the way, of investment. That it prohibits you from investing in harmful sectors or businesses. Just like when you go out there to invest and you're opening up a business account, and then you're telling, let's say, your financial manager that I'm going to start up this business. Most of the banks, if they realize that you are interested in this and you're going to pay back
as long as you're going to pay back the money, yes.
It's a win for them. So when you look at this, Islamic banking puts in place moral Islamic moral and ethical value systems, that you are a Muslim, what kind of business do you want to start up? So if you want to start up a casino, then that is a no-go zone area.
Right.
If you want to start up a nightclub and you want to use money from the Islamic bank, then there is simply no way you're going to get that money, because they want to uphold the morals of the Muslims, and also try to build the ethical values of the Muslim community.
Well, of course, it's beautiful what the Muslim fraternity does, especially in the areas of business. Like Sonko said, they pull each other up, they support each other, more like Indians. They run their businesses in a way of community. You will find that Muslims will create spaces for fellow Muslims to thrive. Unlike what happens in the Christian fraternity, there it's more like everyone for themselves and God for us all. But I've envisioned it myself with the Muslim fraternity and how they pull each other up, hold each other, and make sure that they work together, especially when it comes to business. Now, when it comes to celebrating Eid, it is usually characterized by a large meal, prayers in the morning, and then a large meal that is shared by friends and family, beautiful conversations, making merry as they see fit, or as according to different families. And they all come together, so much so that even the Christians now want a part of that. But if you are not invited, please don't go. Do not go to someone's home just because you saw them preparing a large, sumptuous meal and you just want to partake of that. Modern times have changed. People plan and they cook for a given number of people. Anyway, coming back to the conversation, Miss Chantal Olive, you're what, Hajat Hamida for that day.
You know, the name Olive has an Arabic name.
Oh.
And it is Zaitun.
Yes. I was 2 days old.
Yeah, so olive in Arabic, or for a Muslim, for any Muslim called Zaitun, in English it would be olive.
Interesting, interesting. So now that Ramadan has ended, Muslims are celebrating Eid today. Will we see a difference in businesses when Muslims go back? Actually, they've been working, but when now that they're out of the fasting period, is there going to be a difference in business? Because the complaint I hear is that when they're fasting, businesses, different businesses, and then I won't name them, but they are affected. The products do not go as much as they go when Muslims are not fasting. Which also brings me to the other question. Does it mean that the biggest consumers of anything, be it food or anything else, are Muslims?
I'm still doing my bit of research, but according to what I would call patterns, we have seen over the years that during Ramadan, there is a way money in circulation, one reduces, and then after the fasting period, when Eid is done, when Ramadan is done, business tries to get back to normal and to stabilize, and that is for very many sectors of the business. Now, the question of whether the biggest percentage of the market players are Muslim could also be something that I haven't finalized with when it comes to the research that I'm trying to put together, because I don't want to be here and I give information that I'm not so sure of. But the truth is, when you study patterns, during Ramadan, business goes down a little bit and then now starts picking up after Ramadan. And, well, it goes without saying that maybe actually the biggest percentage of consumers and also those in business could be Muslims. But also, remember, money keeps on exchanging hands. So where there is a cut down on expenditure, a cut down on how much money is being put out by a certain percentage of individuals, definitely there has to be a difference, and a noticeable difference, also considering that we have a fairly big percentage of Muslims in our country and also in different parts of the world.
But most importantly, when you also look at the working hours, normally during Ramadan, you get to realize that there is a lot of social gathering. amongst the Muslim community.
So the working hours are reduced.
There's a decrease of the working hours, and that translates to less productivity as much. Because remember, there's time for prayers, there's going to be time for, breaking the fast during iftar session. So you do not expect a Muslim to be actively engaging in business at around 6:30. Because at that time, it's now time for prayers and breaking fast. So when you look at some of these, some of the contributing factors, and when you go even in downtown, the level of purchasing goods or commodities at times does not, relate to how it's going to be after the fasting period.
Because a portion of the population has cut down on its expenditure, so definitely you cannot have it stay the same.
Well, according to the to census reports, this is the previous census. We are going into another census very soon. But according to the previous reports, it says that Muslims constitute 14% of the population in Uganda. And according to Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, it states that Muslims, primarily the Sunni, are closer to 35% of the population. I think this makes sense when it comes to the spending and consumption of certain goods and services, especially during Ramadan, and why we see a change. Now, going back to how Muslims do their things during Ramadan and even after, we have all established that they are quite givers, and that they like the sense of community and coming together. As Christians, unfortunately, none of us on this set is Muslim. But as Christians, and this question goes to either of you, what lessons do we learn from our Muslim brothers and sisters that we can now inculcate into our Christianity as we live our day-to-day lives?
Giving back a little more during the fasting season. Why am I saying giving back a little more? When you look at the Lent season for the Christians, it's 40 days. And, many Christians through different organizations or through different, church groups normally give back to communities, even when it's not fasting or that. But when you look at the fasting season of Muslims, there's a lot of giving back to different communities. Especially, if you'll excuse me, especially the underprivileged, the vulnerable groups. You will definitely, see Muslim, maybe a mosque of a certain community going to a hospital, giving back, breaking their fast, let's say in an orphanage, or breaking their fast, with the underprivileged in general, or those who are struggling with life. So this is something that we can pick up from the Muslim brothers and sisters. Then also the element of relationship, or let's say how we relate with individuals and our morals. If you happen to see how Muslims are, behave during their fasting, it can easily show you that this person is actually in a holy month. Well, on the other hand, at times it's not easy, or it's pretty difficult to tell if at all a Christian is fasting, according to the way they act, amongst their colleagues, even when they are fasting. So that, to me, is what we can easily pick up, how we behave during the fasting period, or then how we give back, because it is a holy month and it's a season of giving back and trying to pull everyone closer to God as much as possible.
Sonko, you are talking about what I would choose to call principle. And when you try to look deeper into the Christian and the Muslim religions, you realize that some of those things are principle when it comes to Muslims. Now, every Friday after Jummah prayers, food, for example, is served at the mosque. Now, that food usually gives people who don't have food around the mosque. And sometimes people just come in and fluke and eat, and they are left. Now, how many churches in Uganda do that, like after Sunday service, go ahead and serve their people? Even those who come to church and probably they don't have what to eat or where to stay. How many churches do that? I think I only know one that does that every Sunday that I will not mention on air. But most mosques, if not all, they serve food to after the Jummah prayers. Then also, the element of giving is principle. It is told to the Muslims, you grow up knowing, while you are studying, you grow up knowing that giving the needy or being a philanthropist at a particular level is part of what you are supposed to be. You have to give back. However, on the Christian side, we give according to the abundance of our hearts. And that is where the difference is. So if I don't feel convicted, if I don't feel like I have much to give as a Christian, I may not be able to. Whereas on the other side, it is a principle. Give back to the needy, give back to the vulnerable, do something for your community. And that is why you realize that even for Islam banking, it is more people-centric. And the truth is, if we were to go further into that, you realize that even business should be more people-centric for you to be able to get the profit that you are looking for, instead of concentrating more on the profit and neglecting the people that, one, do the work, two, that give you the profit. And that is the part that I believe Christians now need to incorporate, one, in their businesses. And the truth is, even most Christians who are business owners, do you know that some show up like at 11 a.m. to their businesses? And these are principles that need to be that need to be taken up. As in, if you want something to work, you have to have principles. But when you try to assess and review the two religions, you realize that as Christians, we need to borrow a leaf on how we follow our principles and values and how we put them in place, so that we are able to do better in the different faiths. So mine today would be, let's have the principles and let's put them in place, let's implement them.
Well, a few facts about Islam. It's Buganda was in current day Uganda was the first to have the contact, or it was the first contact for Muslims with their contact with Arab traders back in the 18s when they came to do business in Buganda, and of course with them came Islam. Now, according to Wikipedia, Yumbe district is the only district with a Muslim majority of 76%. Muslims form a significant minority in the districts of Mayuge, which is at 36%, and Iganga at 34%. But of course, of all the regions, all districts, if we are to break them down, then we have over 1 million, according to the census of 2002, we have over 1 million Muslims in Kampala alone. But going to other districts, the number now is distributed, but still they are spread across the country. Back in the day, I actually never used to find a Tuhimbisiwe Amina. Chantal, how many Westerners have you interacted with that are actually Muslims?
The truth is, I can really count them. I've not met very many of them that are Muslims. Yes, most of them you'll find they'll be either Anglican or Catholic.
Or Catholic.
Yes.
Yet, according to the census of 2002, there are actually many Muslims, even in Western Uganda and other districts across the board. So as Muslims celebrate Eid today, we wish you all the best. We congratulate you upon coming to this day. We know that fasting for 30 days non-stop is no mean feat, but you have done it, and today you are celebrating, and of course, we join in the excitement with you. For Haj Sonko that has been invited, we say, please bring us some pilau. Don't enjoy alone. But as for us here at Good Morning Uganda, we are still continuing, but we say Eid Mubarak.
One 107.3, Kampala 96.9, Mbale 95.7, Jinja 98.6, Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Butego. Atekeri naite saibi jasesi. UBC Butego.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The roots of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Hams Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Of Fort Portal town, there is a hidden game called Cheganywa Hill. This is a place that gives you almost a 360 view of the town. You know, when you talk about Fort Portal town, the first thing that you're going to think about are the green scenery, the beautiful landscapes. They're intertwined within valleys, hills, craters, crater lakes, calderas. But if you want to have this perfect view that attracts different adventurers across the world to come to this place just to see, to have a glimpse of this beautiful landscape, it is at Cheganywa Hill. So right here, when we hike up to this top, you get to see 3 crater lakes at the same view. You get a bird's view of these 3 crater lakes, Lake Chigere, Lake Wabikere, Lake Saka. All those 3, you see them. But across the hill, there are also other things that you're going to spot. Mountains of the Munihu University, you're going to see a caldera, you're going to see the green lush lake. The scenery is amazing. This is one that it is one that I can actually die for, because being here in this place, it is beautiful to the eyes. You never get tired of watching this place. So I think as we're thinking about traveling, as we're thinking about exploring Uganda, this is one place that should actually be on your bucket list. As we encourage you to travel, maybe you could not be knowing where to go, you don't know which place to go to, what to do, but now we are showing you Cheganywa Hill. Of course, there is a hike. It is not, okay, I won't say that it is very difficult like the mountains, but it is a hike. Of course, hiking never, it is the same, because it gets you tiring, you get tired, you sweat, but getting to the top of Cheganywa Hill is definitely something that you would really want to have. So let's roll and see how we hike up. Thank you.
My name is David Bright, and I'm from around here, so I just found myself to be in this amazing place. It has an amazing view. I like here every time, every evening when I'm free, I come here, do some physicals. As you can see me here right now. Wow, I am right now. You can see me. Or sometimes I come with my baby. I come and hang out here because it's an amazing place. Or if I tell you have a date, please make sure you bring your baby. I'm sure she'll like it. She'll love you forever, because this is a very nice place. Everybody could just feel like, oh, I love this. This place is amazing. So this is amazing. As you could see yourself, it's really amazing. And every time of me, I just be here because I really love it. We are on the top, like here, and down there we're surrounded by 3 crater lakes. I think they're down there, maybe we cannot see all of them, but there are 3 in one place. We can see the valley, and we can see mostly when you come here like at 6:30, when there is a sun, you can really see the sun rising to give the perfect view. Oh my God, when you just here like around 6:30 p.m., you love it. Or you can come in the morning at 6:30, 6:20. You be here, you see it gives amazing sight.
My name is Nelon. I'm standing here on top of Cheganywa Hill in Fort Portal, a place I can say is one of the most arousing and alluring in Uganda. Like you can see, this place, as you're on top of this hill, there are 4 crater lakes. One is called Lake Saka. That big one, it's a lava-dammed lake, and it has an arm, which is a crater lake on its side. It's also part of Lake Saka as well. And then on my right side, there is Lake Wabikere, which is a blowhole. It was an incomplete eruption. And then water filled up that hole and it became a lake of sorts. Then behind us is one of the most famous crater lakes in this region. It's called Lake Chigere. In full, it's called Lake Chigere Kyanyinamwiru. But usually it's commonly known as Lake Chigere, as you can see. And behind you guys, behind the camera, we have the Kalyango rolling hills. Those hills there with the caldera on top. And then we have Kamutebi swamp. We have the Rwenzori Mountains right there. We have Fort Portal City on my left. We have Mountains of the Moon University. We have Katojo prisons. We have Mohoti Barracks, and so many attractions in this place. So when you're here, you get to experience one of the best views in Uganda. There is also Nyakasura School, where those guys wear kilts, those red iron sheets, and all that you get to enjoy it after hiking this Cheganyo Hill. It's a breathtaking hike, not for everyone. The name Cheganyo means, in our local language in Rutoro, it means something that people try to avoid. Cheganyo. Kweganya is to avoid. Kweganywa, to avoid. So that's why they named this hill Cheganyo. Like you guys realized when you're trying to, at the start of the hike, everyone was like, we have to, I'm not going. It had to take so much convincing for people to hike. So that's where the name came from. This lake is called Chigere Kyanyinamwiru because on the other side of the lake there is a rock with a footprint of, it's believed to be the footprint of Nyinamwiru. So that's why the lake is called Lake Chigere. Yeah, and behind the rolling hills is where we find the Maverega Nyinamwiru caves and so many other breathtaking attractions.
So if you think that you've had it all, that you've explored Uganda, but you've not been to this spot, then I don't know what you've really done, because every time you travel, you think that you've seen it all, but every time you go back, there's still something new for you. So I don't know how many times I can go to a destination, because even experiences become different with the people that you go with. So I don't know, you who has not been to this place, I don't know what you're really thinking, but for me, I'm here to uncover for you all the hidden gems that are endowed in the Pearl of Africa. So thank you so much. This is the GME Tourism Express with Irene Alena Misango. Catch you tomorrow.
Happy Eid al-Fitr to our Muslim business community. Good morning, and it's time for us to check in to the world of business and see what is making headlines from there. Well, we are going to start off from the Yoga's house, as government has targeted collecting about 1.9 trillion Ugandan shillings. This is in the proposed tax bills in order to boost the domestic revenue mobilization in Uganda, to see that we limit our desire for loans away from the country. Now, the new proposed taxes includes 100 shillings on every litre of petroleum and diesel fuel, then 300 shillings on kerosene, 0.5% on withdrawals through agent banking. There is 5% charges on non-business assets like land and rental properties, and then there is also an extended tax on cement products like adhesives. So when you look at this, these are some of the proposed taxes that are likely to be enrolled in the next financial year. Now, the tax bills were presented by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to the Parliamentary Committee on Finance for further scrutiny by Parliament. Then the government is seeking to alter the existing tax framework as part of the strategies to boost the medium-term domestic revenue mobilization in order to meet the financing of the national budget. Now, looking at it, the Ministry of Finance also presented this before Parliament. Then the officials first had time to explain the due diligence justifying the impact assessments of these proposed tax reforms and some of the adjustments that they are pushing for. Because looking at this, the General Duties Minister of Finance and Minister of State for Finance, that is Honorable Henry Musasizi, told the members of Parliament how the move fosters economic growth. Musasizi told the committee government will charge 100 shillings per litre for both petroleum and also diesel, and then 300 shillings on kerosene. Now, the Committee on Finance looked at the government's proposal to slap a 0.5% on agent banking withdrawals, as well as charges on non-business assets like land and rental and extended taxes as well. So this is coming at a time when a section of the community is already criticizing government for inadequately sensitizing the masses on tax reforms and introduction of digital solutions, especially with a 2-day strike in regards to IFRIS, where the traders in Kampala, also elsewhere yesterday in Masaka, were on strike in regards to the IFRIS system, or the system that was initiated for e-receipting. That was way back in 2021. So when you look at that, most of the traders are not happy with this particular electronic receipting and invoicing system. But not only that, they're also not happy with the tax reforms. So this is a very huge task or hurdle ahead for the Ministry of Finance in order to push for these tax reforms ahead of the next financial year in order to boost local revenue. And now, away from that, we now talk matters Eid al-Fitr as a look back at some of the social corporate responsibilities, at the corporate social responsibilities from many companies in regards to giving back to the Muslim business people. Now, during Ramadan, you get to realize that Unilever's iconic season brand, Royco, concluded its month-long Ramadan giveaway to the Muslim community by contributing to families that are preparing to celebrate Eid Day today. Some of the goods that were given out include, the groceries that were quite many, including also some of the Unilever brands like Royco being offered. But not only that, sugar, rice and salt giving back to the Muslim people who have been through fasting in order to celebrate Eid with their families. Now, the handover marked the culmination of the Royco Share Goodness campaign that aimed at elevating Ramadan dining experience and sharing with the loved ones the beauty of the Royco. Then additionally, the organization embarked on a drive to rally Muslims to join in on the campaign by sharing essential food items to fellow Muslims during the season of Ramadan, which came to an end yesterday. And now, Grace Nandaula, Nutrition Category Manager at Unilever, emphasized the significance of these donations, which were distributed at the Chibuli Mosque before Iftar. Now, expressing gratitude for the initiative, the Imam of Chibuli further addressed the media, thanking Unilever company for the support rendered to various Muslims. And in attendance were brand ambassadors, including influencers from the X app, who had a lot to say in regards to giving back to the Muslim community. Now, we do check out what was happening during this give back from Unilever.
My name is Nandaula Grace from Unilever Uganda, and we started the campaign for Share Your Goodness this Ramadan, on Ramadan immediately. The Ramadan campaign was calling upon Muslims to come and share goodness. We all know during this time, Muslims do a lot of sharing, come together to give, and also to donate to the poor or to the people who can't afford. So during this campaign, we have partnered with the community, with the Muslim imams, but also the community outside there, who have also come together and partnered with us, donated food items like cooking oil, salt, rice, and today we officially closed the Ramadan, handing over the hampers that we have collected across the country to our Muslims to celebrate Eid.
I thank the Unilever company for this Ramadan package. May Allah bless you and give you more customers, because we have many people who are going to share this one for tomorrow for Eid al-Fitr al-Mubarak. Because when you give this one, we avoid people to going from the rich people's get knocking, asking for the what? For the pilau and the matok. Someone to get this one will be with the family tomorrow to enjoy the Eid. The happiness to family and the members of the family. May Allah reward you the best and reward you abundantly. I remain Executive Imam of Chibuli Mosque, Sheikh Mtiaba Abdul Salam. I wish you Eid al-Fitr al-Mubarak.
It's been an amazing ride. We are so glad the month has come to an end, the fasting period has come to an end, and Royco has actually been visiting several mosques. For the whole period of the fasting, you've seen the Royco group coming through in the evenings during iftar, and they've been able to serve and enjoy meals with the different Muslims.
Hello, my name is Linda Uwera, and I am an influencer representing Royco. And I've been part of this campaign from the beginning of the fasting season, and I must say that I'm very impressed by how Royco has been sharing the whole season, sharing food with the people that need it, sharing iftar, sharing goodies like they are right now.
It has been a very, very great journey throughout. We've touched very many people's lives through the Royco charity or iftari experiences of share the goodness. People have been happy. It's been amazing.
There you've heard it from the horse's mouth in regards to celebrating Eid Day. But let's have a look at the forex market and how different currencies are faring. For those who have just landed in the country to celebrate Eid, how will you find the forex market? And this is courtesy of the Bank of Uganda. So as you can easily go and exchange some currencies. Now, a quick look at the forex market. Yesterday, the US dollar was buying at 3,805.42. That was opening time. Then selling was 3,815.42. Closing time, the US dollar was buying at 3,790.00 shillings, while selling at 3,800.00 shillings. And on the other hand, the Great Britain pound was buying at 4,998.14 shillings, while selling at 4,810.80. And the euro was buying at 1,015.94 shillings, while selling at 4,128.80. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 29.15, while selling at 29.22. And the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.46 shillings, while selling at 1.47 shillings. It has continued to drop. Then the South African rand was buying at 203.51 shillings, while selling at 204.04 shillings. So that is how you will find the forex market for those moving out to exchange some currencies with the various bureaus. That is courtesy of the Bank of Uganda. Now, coming up is the traffic updates. It doesn't look to be a busy day as of now, but well, Olive Monica Najuma is here to give us more of the same.
Once again, Eid al-Fitr to our Muslim brothers and sisters. It's a joyful day to spend with the people that we love and make memories. Now, as over here, we are going to take you through some sections of Namgongo Road. It's been quite a menace this week because of the road constructions that are happening that side. But today being a public holiday, I think that it is pretty good if you are moving or using this route, going to the sides of Seta, Sonde, or even coming through to town. Now, starting off at Sonde Road, where it transitions into Namgongo Road, we see that there is smooth flow of traffic in the area, and continuing with Namgongo Road, there is smooth flow of traffic. All I see are green zones. Now, this intersection you see right now is right in Chaliwajala, where Namgongo Road connects to Chaliwajala Trading Center. And of course, what we see is just green, smooth flow of traffic. For those coming in from Chira side, I see smooth flow of traffic. And of course, those coming in from Chireka side, the same the same situation remains. Now, continuing with Namgongo Road, as now it starts to transition into Nalia, there is still smooth flow of traffic for the most part in this area. Now, I want us to see what it looks like around the bypass, because right from Nalia, you're just driving smoothly without any encumbrances going forward. Now, around Shell Nalia, you will encounter a bit of traffic jam, especially for those going to the side of Charlie Wajala, but not for a big stretch. And of course, as you get closer now to the bypass, I'm starting to see a few orange zones, but these ones surprisingly are not coming to town, or not surprisingly, being a public holiday. They are going to the other side of town, and of course, they won't cost you a lot of time. Now we are approaching the roundabout at Nalia, and this here looks pretty good. What you see there is the Northern Bypass roundabout right within Nalia, and what I see is a smooth flow of traffic all across around the roundabout. All the feeder routes that are feeding into the roundabout are bringing in smooth flow of traffic, so you will not be delayed. You cannot use traffic jam as an excuse for being late to wherever you're going this morning, because all the roads are clear from what we are seeing right now. Now, after the roundabout at Nalia, we still continue with green zones only, which indicate that we still have smooth flow of traffic as we head into the areas of Ntinda. Now, Majora Road, right outside Sinabel Supermarket, also has smooth flow of traffic. I see that Kadui Close is also bringing in smooth flow of traffic. So for the most part, today, you're in luck. Wherever you go, you're going, at least for now, because it's still early morning hours. It's not yet 8 a.m. I don't know what will happen later on, but at least for now, you should enjoy that car. Maybe step on your gas, but not so much to cause accidents. But days like this are the best days to enjoy the car that you bought. Get to test it and see what it was made for. Well, we will stop in the areas of Ntinda, but for the most part, you're free to move. You're good to go. Enjoy your car, as in, I mean, most of the time you're stuck in traffic. So today you have no excuse. Drive it and don't use fuel as an excuse. Well, happy Eid to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Once again, my name is Olive Monica Najuma. I hope you have great memories made today, because you only live once. Well, you're still watching Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their baby bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby Junior jelly.
So try that hair. Admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior.
Baby Junior.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth all from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.